Hey, it's Webs here, and it's time to scale Fel Damage up incredibly quickly with all the unique ways that you can in this new Mercenary build. Basic idea behind this Mercenary build is to scale Fel Damage off of Fel Core, Deathwing's Demon Soul, and Gul'dan's Staff of Chaos. Whenever a demon actually dies, aka the Infernals, you gain +4 Fel damage, which is one less than what the Infernals just naturally give, which makes it an incredibly easy way to scale up Fel damage. And then once either Jaraxxus or Deathwing dies, we bring in Lady Vashj, use her reflective shot that scales Fel damage even further while also doing a bunch of Fel damage. Then on the bench for the final two mercenaries, we have a Kazakus because we are summoning a bunch of ads, so we do want to buff up the Sylvanas as much as humanly possible. However, I will say this build is not the best one in the world. I tried out a bunch of different variations of this and some other builds that didn't actually work how I thought they would work, given tooltips of what the ability said they would do, but they actually didn't. But it is what it is, and this one is just a lot of fun to play, and most people aren't expecting Fel right now. So with that warning out of the way, let's go in the mercenary by mercenary breakdown. First one being Jaraxxus, which we're using Fel Core on. We're mainly going to be using his second ability and third ability, but for the most part, Fel Infernals is what you're going to be using 90% of the time. Sometimes Fist of Jaraxxus or Legion Bursts do come up depending on how many Infernals you actually have up, but it doesn't always. Deathwing, we are using Demon Soul, and then for his abilities, we're either using Elementium Armor or Claws of Terror, depending if our opponent has a lot of attack-based mercenaries or not. Gul'dan, we are using Staff of Chaos, and basically always using Fel Bolt on him, though you can use Siphon Life here and there. Vashj, we are using Fel Cauldron to get some Fel damage scaling on her, and you're basically using Reflective Shot and Electrify for her. Kazakus, we are using Wild Vine, and we are basically using Build a Golem and Shadow Claws on him. Sylvanas, we are finally using a Death Volley for her equipment, and then you're basically going to be using Reclaim Souls, and then you are going to be using Banshee Bolt from that point forward, unless you need to scale up your damage a little bit more, and you actually can survive using a second Reclaim Souls, which doesn't usually happen, but it is what it is. All right, with that all out of the way, let's look at some games. Okay, so it's an even split again. We're just going to put down our first three mercenaries. Okay, so it's going to be Frost. Local Lore really needs to die pretty quickly here. We use Fel Infernal, attack into the... we can put up a taunt. It's going to be double the damage. Or actually just attack into Local Lore. We might not be able to kill Local Lore in one turn, but we should get it pretty low. Especially given the fact that we only actually trigger Local Lore's equipment once in the setup, which is nice. We steal their ad. For some stupid reason, it still attacks whatever the target originally was, though. Okay, we can use another Fel Infernal, or we could actually use Fist of Jaraxxus to see if we can snipe the Local Lore. Or swap this up and go back for the Infernal. That's probably the safe bet, because we do have a way to kill the Local Lore before it gets their ability off with our ad, and then they're going to attack into us, giving us one ad here and then giving us a second one because they're a dragon. The next turn we should actually use Fist of Jaraxxus. Oh, well, we can actually focus down Trigor here. I didn't know that we were going to be dealing with the Trigor, so summoning an additional ad is probably the best bet. It does give us free 15 damage to the Trigor. They're going to steal some attack from our dragons, which is fine. Our Gul'dan's just hanging in there by a thread. Trigor's dead. That's all that really matters here, though. As long as Gul'dan doesn't die, we should be in a pretty good position. Okay, so they have Valera, which means Gul'dan is probably dead here. There isn't any protecting Gul'dan. Well, we steal their ad, but Deathwing sadly dies. Okay, we have room to put down both Vashj and Kazakus, which will actually buff up all of our tokens, which is kind of funny. It would be cool if we saw some, like, menagerie-based mercenary, because this is almost a menagerie team. I don't actually think anything in this team shares a type. I guess Kazakus when he evolves, but before he evolves, everything here is something unique. Okay, so they're just going to use ambush. This triggers Fist of Jaraxxus, and then we just have to deal with Varden, and I'm assuming Jaina. Oh, okay, Kazakus. Oh, we can use Fist of Jaraxxus if we really want. We don't have any room for anything else, though. I'm going to focus down the Kazakus because I just don't want to deal with it. And we're going to hope we do enough damage to actually trigger the Fist of Jaraxxus here. Probably won't, but you never know. You're going to put up a taunt, which gets rid of our 2 minions. And they somehow managed to snipe our 1 minion. Okay, so here we'll just put up an ad, use True Shape because why not, and then Reflective Shot for game. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be an even split of a team, which doesn't tell us too much information. We are going to be putting down our first 3 mercenaries of Jaraxxus, Deathwing, and Gul'dan. Okay, so it looks like there's some attack base work team. That's actually kind of interesting. I did have an idea of a team to use a bunch of bleed mercenaries, but I ended up scrapping it just because Cookie's tooltips lie to you. Okay, so we're going to focus down the Trigor here. They're going to attack into Deathwing, which is perfectly fine. Deathwing dies. We don't really care too much. We have Lady Vashj, though she might instantly die if we do use her Fel ability here. Actually, it depends on what order we do this in. Because if we attack with all the ads before, Trigor should, in theory, die first. And we might actually want to swap the Jaraxxus to summon another ad, because we are attacking with the Infernal here, which means we can summon an additional Infernal to get it back up. And we should be quicker than all their mercenaries here, depending if they use Galvinger's second ability or not, but it looks like they aren't. Okay, so that gets out my Estra, which almost kills our Infernal, but it doesn't, and we get everything real low here, almost killing the Rek'Thar, and then everything we have is put on CD. Okay, so we're going to use Fist. That probably won't kill anything, but you never know. And then we're going to use Fel Bolt on the Maestro. I'm assuming Vashj is probably not going to survive after this turn, but you never know. Okay, so they're going to attack into 2 things that aren't actually in front of it. I guess they still haven't fixed the Maestro bugs. Okay, so we have Kazakus and Sylvanas. We're probably going to use Kazakus's build a golem to get 3 ads here. Actually, maybe we'll put up a taunt to protect from their Thrall. and hard target down Thrall and then reclaim souls. Not worrying too much about the Samuro here, because they're just going to protect it anyways. And it doesn't hit our Sylvanas, so we're in a good position. We're going to put up a taunt again, and then we're going to nuke Thrall out of existence, which means Samuro should be the only thing left up at the end of this turn. And then we should just be able to rinse and repeat until the end of the game. Okay, they do kill our minion, but we do have more HP here. I don't think they'll be able to do much. We're just going to shoot. They'll protect themselves. And then we're going to shoot again. Okay, they'll do 32. Then we just win here. Okay, so it's an even split. Doesn't really tell us too much information. We're just going to let the game instantly put down our first 3 mercenaries. Okay, so it's a Elise comp. These are always fun to versus, because if you can actually kill their Elise quick enough, we are in a pretty good position. Actually, I guess technically they don't have to be Elise comp. I'm just assuming they are with it included. I've tried Elise actually in the build that I'm showcasing now instead of Deathwing in the starting lineup, but she always got hard targeted, so I just ended up scrapping her. Okay, so one of the bench is Maestro. Maestro will hit Deathwing, which is perfectly fine. Gives us additional add. Also hitting Gul'dan, which is a little bit annoying, but okay. We're going to use Jaraxxus' ability to summon an add, and then we might actually attack with the add into Elise, though this might be a little bit of a mistake thinking back on it, just because of the fact that Elise doesn't have 15 attack, meaning the add that we attack with doesn't actually die, and thus we won't have space by the time that ability activates, or they can clear out the space for us. That's perfectly fine too. Okay, Deathwing does die here. Elise does also die here, and Gul'dan sadly dies here too, which means Vashj and Kazakus are coming back out. Okay, I'm going to use his second ability since it should hit 2 targets. Using a reflective shot, and then probably putting up a taunt here, mainly due to the fact that they have a bunch of attack-based mercenaries. Or I think this is the game that I made the mistake of using the Divine Shield instead. I meant to actually put up the taunt, but oh well. Okay, we actually hard targeted the Maestro. That's actually kind of funny. Not technically the best thing that could have happened there, but it's perfectly fine. Okay, so we're probably going to actually want to eat the 2 golems with Kazakus. We're going to use Fel Infernal to focus down the Captain Rogers, and then not much else we can actually do here. Also really should have attacked with the 8/8s. For some reason I was thinking there was some type of AoE they could do. I guess there is technically, but the AoE that they can do isn't, you know. And they actually give us space for our Fel Elemental again, which is really nice. We do have the Lady Vashj, though everything we have is going to be on a turn cooldown of 2, so that's going to be a little bit annoying. Okay, so we're going to attack into Maiev. Vashj can't do anything this turn. Use Reclaim Souls. And we probably should have attacked into Maiev with one of the Infernals, just so we could steal it, but oh well. Actually, Maiev should actually attack into one of our mercenaries, so we should be able to steal one shot. Am Maiev stealing theirs? Now we just have to deal with Tyrion and whatever else is on the bench. Or just whatever else is on the bench. Unless they give up. Oh right, we knew what was on the bench. Well, we can try to steal this too, and end out the game. Okay, so it's mainly casters, which might be a little bit of a problem for us. I'm just going to put down Jaraxxus, Deathwing, and Gul'dan. Nice thing here, though, is Gul'dan's the most important of the scaling to survive. Oh, shit, it's just nature. Okay, so we can focus down Malfurion first. The good news is they don't have any type of AoE, so we should be able to just stack a bunch of Infernals up here and there. Okay, who are they going to focus down? They're going for Jaraxxus, which is fine. Actually okay with Jaraxxus dying here. It sucks that we'll only get one Infernal off, but it's still better than having Gul'dan focused. And then we do kill the Malfurion, and we should be quicker than both of their mercenaries at this point. Okay, they're going to put down Cookie. I'm assuming to trigger the nature combo with Guff. We're going to attack into Bru'kan and also try to do some damage with Gul'dan with Bru'kan. Or I mean, to Bru'kan with Gul'dan. My bad. The opposite of what I meant. Okay, Mighty Footing. They're going to focus down Deathwing next, which is fine. I don't mind them focusing him down. Sure, it does get rid of 4 Fel damage, but it's perfectly fine because we'll be able to crit everything here. Bru'kan dies. Our Infernal dies. And then we can put down Kazakus. Buff up everything we have. So I'm assuming the last one's going to be Diablo. Well, probably going to use the 3/6/6s. Attack into Guff just because I want to get them low as possible. Also damaging Cairn. Probably should have done an even split or all on one target, but oh well. Okay, they're going to use Go Fish. Don't kill the Guff. Actually, we shouldn't kill anything here, which is actually pretty good. Though they do have our Vashj in cookie range, which might be bad. Let's just kind of focus down the Cairn. Okay, so Guff. Oh, we actually survived for an extra turn with Vashj. Kind of shocked about that. Okay, so we only have to deal with, I'm assuming, Diablo. We're going to probably do the additional attack on Sylvanas, and then we're just going to use Gul'dan's first ability and Shadow Claws. Everything survives here, so we're in a good position. Oh, we probably actually could have killed them this turn. Okay, so they all die, but we do have this, so we should just be able to one-shot here. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the build. Overall, this build was not that good. I'm just going to straight out saying it. The fact that Fel synergy for some reason is spread across so many different types of individual mercenaries makes this build a little bit frustrating to actually try to make work. But I really wanted to do something with Fel for quite a while now, and I thought Lady Vashj would be the best way to do it. And it turns out she probably is the best way to have a big payoff for Fel, as she is probably the quickest payoff that you possibly could have for one of these teams, since Rathian in theory could do a bunch more damage, but he is a lot slower because he has to survive 2 turns, and Gul'dan and Jaraxxus are both very slow mercenaries, so you're not going to be able to use them as a big payoff most of the time. But when you can actually steal off some wins, this is a lot of fun, just because of the fact that no one's going to expect you to try to scale Fel damage in all these certain ways, and most people just focus down the Deathwing because they think that's the biggest issue. But it turns out Gul'dan is just incredibly good in this build. No one's going to expect you to try to scale up Fel damage every single possible way in Mercenaries right now. If the Fel synergy actually had a way to heal some damage or reduce damage taken or something, then this build would be incredibly good. However, because there isn't anything and Gul'dan is the best example or the only example of it, and it only heals demons and orcs, I don't think I can recommend this build unless you've been wanting to do something with Fel for a while. Then this is probably your best shot. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.